napindot na. Kala ko napindot na. Wait lang. Ayan sir. Kala ko napindot na kanina eh. Okay, totalitarian na isa. Kala ko kasi napindot na kanina eh. Kailangan pa palang pindutin ulit. Ayan, dito na. A community holds an annual festival where members congregate to participate in spiritual activity. Religion is spiritual eh. Even if there are sporadic situations when disregarding the rules could result in greater happiness. A philosopher contends that people should adhere to set norms that foster general. Okay, yan. Friends discover a wallet that was lost and contained substantial sum of money. They make the decision to hand the wallet back to rightful owner without keeping any of it. Moral and ethics. Moral lang. A moral philosopher contends that rather considering each case independently, acts should be judged like universal principle that supports over and well-being rule. The self-interest and well-being of a person should always come first, according to a philosophy. Should always come first. Self and well-being of subjectivism. Subjectivism ba yan? Ano na kasi yung subjectivism? Ano na? Self-interest and well-being. Person should always comes first. Comes first ba yun? Okay. Psychological activism pala yun. A theoretical framework for assessing moral obligation based on the ideas of increasing total enjoyment, reducing and normative. The cultural beliefs, tradition, and practices of citizens have an impact culture. A nation enacts legislation requiring all residents to dress in certain manner that honors the country's cultural. As a nation enacts legislation require legislation. A popular social media site has a security flaw as found by software developer. The developer alerts the platform security team right away rather than using vulnerability for personal advantage, aiding them to quickly fix the problem. Ethics. It is traditional in one culture for people to bow down and respect their elders as the display of deference and honor. Culture. The CEO of business is given the opportunity to join a rival company and contribute important insider knowledge. The CEO turns down the offer, citing loyalty to their existing employer and moral reservations. But a study is carried out by a researcher to examine the cultural variation of moral standards and ethical judgment among various nations around the world. Okay. The legal system of nation forbids alcohol drinking. However, a religious group there continues to partake alcohol use as sacred ritual during the religious event. Regardless of how their actions affect other people, a person continuously acts in a way that maximizes their own gains. Psychological egoism. A group of people constantly act in ways ways that put their personal interests first because they think this is the psychological. An anonymous information regarding a well-known politician engaged in criminal activity is given to a journalist. The journalist does in-depth research into allegation, confirm the facts, and then publishes an article to alert the public to politicians' wrongdoing. Ethics. A group of people follow a set of moral and ethical precepts that are influenced by their religious beliefs and govern their actions. A group of people follow a set of moral culture. A person asserts that despite the appearance of altruism, all human activities are ultimately motivated by self-interest and pursuit of personal satisfaction. Subject. Ito nga muna. A person asserts that despite the appearance of altruism. Ayan. One believes that one moral judgment are influenced by their own emotions, upbringing, and personal opinion. One believes that one moral judgment are influenced psychological. A collection of people who constantly behave in their own upbringing. Sakto. Psychological. Collection of people who constantly believe that in their own best interest because they believe that doing so would increase happiness to everyone. So, ethical. Without taking into account any larger principles of rules, precise effect it will have on overall rule. A person holds that moral judgments should be made without reference to any pre-existing laws or principles, but rather on the concrete results they cause act. Without taking into account more general principles or laws, a person feels that the morality of a decision is dependent on the immediate results to bring about. Without taking into account more general principles or laws, a person feels that the morality of dependent immediate results bring up. An individual thinks that everyone has a different moral framework and that morality is purely dependent on personal judgments and feelings. Yan. A person holds the opinion that moral standards can vary from person to person depending on their own tastes and convictions. One claims that there are no objective moral truths or standards and that moral judgments are founded in the individual preferences and wishes. Some people hold the opinion that despite outward displays of charity and compassion, everyone is self-interest and acts. One person argues that their acts were justified by their religious conviction in a court, whereas the other contends that the law should be a decisive issue. Law. Even if there may be times when ignoring the rules might seem to be more advantageous. Even if there may be times when ignoring the rules might seem to be more advantageous, according to the philosopher, people should follow basic principles. A corporation creates a code of conduct that's specific, normative. Even if there are specific situations when adhering to the rules may not maximize pleasure in a leisure act. because it maximizes general happiness. Philosophy contends that people should do so because it maximizes general happiness. Then a rule nation has legal framework that is respects the ability of people to freely express their opinions. Law. The person holds the opinion that morality should assess case by case, taking into account the unique circumstances and prospective repercussions. Opinion that morality should be assessed case by case, taking into account the unique circumstances and prospective res- repercussions. Sige, rule muna. A person holds the opinion that moral decisions should be determined without taking into account any universal laws, but rather by looking at the immediate pleasures from protection. One of the company's employee has been taking of his goods to use for personal purposes. The manager learns the employee is confronted by the manager, who wants them to practice the behavior. Ethics, boy. A person holds that morality should be judged by how an action affects the general well-being and happiness of all those concerned without referring to any pre-established norms. According to moral theory, people should adhere to a set of guidelines that have been scientifically proven to result in the maximum level of happiness overall. Rule. Every action is weighed against the predicted effects it will have on overall pleasure, taking into consideration particular of each scenario. Rule. Regardless of one's religious convictions, wearing a certain form of head covering in some public places is legally required in one particular nation. Law. Okay na yan. 12 minutes. Submit. View accuracy, wala pa. Ano pang records? Okay.